High Heel Gamer, and this is The Breakdown. What? Hey, everybody! It's Wednesday! You know what that means. It's time for The Breakdown. I'm your host, Catherine, aka The High Heeled Gamer, and I'm not alone today. And I'm not talking about the troll in the back room, our producer, Jack. I actually have the pleasure of being here with George Dawkins II. George!
What's up, everybody?
How are you doing today?
Doing good. Just doing my best out here, man.
I know that's right. So, George, you are a comic book writer.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the artist as well in the comic book?
No, I have a friend who illustrates my comics for me.
Okay. So you are the creator of the Desert Fox.
Yep.
And for those that don't know about the Desert Fox, it is a very interesting tale. Do you care to tell everybody else about it, please?
It's really based on my background. I come from a Christian background, and I was inspired to do this by, Batman, because I'm a huge Batman fan. Like I'm sure a lot of y'all are.
Yeah.
Yeah, a fan of Batman, the Arkham games, especially the Arkham Knight. That's what really inspired me. Especially that. Even though it was a little disappointing that Jason Todd was the Arkham Knight. I mean, but all things considered, that's the best they could have done with that.
Yeah.
My opinion. But my background, Batman, and I used those things to come up with this idea, this character, and I came out with the character in 2014.
Oh, okay.
And I've been working on it ever since. And in that time, I've been able to connect with people who've helped me bring this idea of mine to life. And I'm where I'm at today. So
the main character is a pastor, correct?
Right.
And he decides that he wants to, and you have it set in Jerusalem, correct? Mm-hmm. Is this the only setting? Is it only in Jerusalem, or does he go through other biblical places?
For now, it's in Jerusalem because Jerusalem and Israel in general, really, it's a very special place to the Christian faith, and mm-hmm. I just thought that'd be his Gotham City. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's so. Help people understand what makes this pastor go from being a pastor of his church to fighting crime.
I guess he feels like it's just God telling him to do that. You know what I'm saying? He just wants to. He's being led by God, so he feels like he just needs to do this. Takes this new path in his life. He goes from a pastor to being a vigilante in Jerusalem. So that's just what he just has to do.
So do you find it difficult to write some of this action packed without it being too gory because of your faith, or do you feel like Christians, especially modern day Christians, understand that sometimes it has to be a little gory? Are you walking that fine line?
I think the line is really a pretty good challenge for me. I guess for most people, it feel like they'd be limited to it, but for me, it's like a challenge. It inspires me to try to find ways to work around it. You know what I'm saying? Things that'll really make it better, make the product better.
It's pretty cool to bring this type of faith-filled comic to the masses. Did you ever second guess yourself oh, maybe people are not ready for this? Or were you no, this is the time to do it?
Every now and then I think because I know this is a kind of a sensitive subject to some people, but I just feel like me and myself, I feel like I'm led by God to do this. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I should try to put him in everything that I do. And with this is no different.
I like that. I appreciate that. So are there going to be any biblical stories that will be twisted for modern time, or are you just trying to do his own stories without so much biblical influence?
His own stories. He may quote a scripture every now and then, but other than that, I'm not going to reach too far into that. But other than that, just really it's his story.
Oh, okay. So as far as the bad guys go, what is your take on that? I know I obviously I've read it, but I'm trying to get you to tell other people without me spoiling stuff and things of that nature. So you're bad guys. Where does that come from?
I guess from I guess things that go against Christianity, pretty much. Like I'm not gonna say too much, but right now the villain in my issues right now, it's based on a cult of, I guess, assassins, and you know how like Adam and Eve and the serpent, they believe the serpent is a mamba, so they're called the Mamba Men. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But
gotcha.
If you read it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's where I got the idea from.
It's always tough for me because when I read something, especially if I like it, I get like super excited and I want to like super talk about it. But in the same token, I don't want to say something that the author might not have intended, for it to be said.
Appreciate it.
So I always have to reel it in. Like, don't get too excited. Don't say too much. So for right now, there are three issues out. Correct?
Right. Correct.
Are you keeping it as this is the first trilogy, or are you making more in this series?
I actually got like 7 more issues on the table. I've already written them already, but I just have to pay my illustrator. Yeah, I can't do that right now, but in the future though, look out for them.
Okay, good. That's actually really good to know. So you go to conventions, right? Because that's where you met Jack and Jeff, correct?
That was actually my second convention I've ever went to in my whole life.
Oh, really?
My first one was last October. I went to New York Comic-Con.
Dang. You had a table at New York Comic-Con?
And I didn't have a table. Okay. Yeah, I planned that months in advance. So that was a lot of planning. So
you don't have to tell me. I was supposed to go to NC Comic-Con, had it all planned out, and
I hope they don't cancel it.
Well, no, not this one. 2 years ago, I still have the passes because 2 weeks before going to NC Comic-Con, I ended up having to have surgery and I couldn't travel. So it was terrible. Yeah. So so obviously this year is kind of a little tough for the convention scene. Yeah, like it's super tough. So let's talk next year. Do you already have like plans for next year, or are you kind of like, let's see what this year brings, and then?
Well, right now I'm just trying to like get what I have now. I'm trying to get it out there, promote it, tell more people about it, and whenever I can, like those issues on the table, I want to make them as soon as possible. So that's my plans, my long-term plans. But I want to take this idea as far as it can go. So
there's a shop section in your Weebly?
It's a clickable link, actually. You can actually download my issues for free if you want to.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was just for me.
For everybody, anybody who goes to the website, just click on the link.
I was feeling special for like a second.
Yeah, it's downloadable for free.
And that's good. That's exciting. Are you planning on adding merch as well, like t-shirts, cups?
Hey.
OMG! Yes.
It's the only one. I'll show it again.
Yes. I'm all about merch. That is
it's my only one though. Like it was a birthday gift like over a year ago, but I'd like to make more. I mean, when I got it like that, I'm gonna make more.
Yeah, for sure, because I'm one of those people that's all about merch. Like I wish you can. Yeah, I definitely want a t-shirt because I wish I could show you like my desk, but it's nothing but people's merches and stuff because I'm a merch kind of girl. All
right.
It's sad, but true.
Hey, when I make more, I got you. When I make more, I got you.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So what made you gravitate to this specific artist? Because his artwork is very different than everybody else's.
I was actually able to connect with him from one of my English professors. Like, at first I had a website and I was just telling people about it, and I happened to tell the right person, my English professor, and she connected me with him, my illustrator, and now he illustrates all my comics for me.
That's pretty cool how things like that work.
I know.
And I always tell people, you never know who you're talking to. You should always try to like let people know what's going on because they can lead you to others that help you out.
It's on who you know.
Exactly. So is Desert Fox your first story, or have you had like previous short stories or other comics that you were trying to delve into?
That is my first and my official only. You know what I'm saying? I got other ideas, but that one right now, that's my biggest focus, and I'm trying to take that one like to the next level.
So you said he want his Gotham is Jerusalem. Are you trying to keep it strictly modern age? Are there going to be some flashbacks?
More so modern age. Modern age. There may be some references to I guess biblical times maybe, but mostly it's gonna be modern.
Okay. And does he have a sidekick, like a little usher boy type of thing?
I got an idea for that, but hey, for now he doesn't.
Okay. Well, I am excited. Like I said, I really do like this this aspect and concept. It's really refreshing. Did your family were they on board, or you know, because a lot of Christian families don't see comic books as, you know.
Yeah,
so I was wondering if they were giving you any type of pullback or.
Well, they support me. They like what I'm doing.
Okay, good.
They really appreciate that I'm like putting like Christian content out there. You know what I mean? Like things for like that Christians can read, maybe.
Yeah, it'll help bridge the gap between comic books and Christians, because like I said, sometimes Christians don't see comic books and superheroes as being positive. So the fact that you can marry the two is really good. So I didn't know if your family members were like, no.
Hey, they support me. They love it.
Good. Do you pass it by them first, like, hey, here's what I'm doing, and
yeah, I do
feedback from them? 100%.
Yeah.
Is there any part of this character, I know you said earlier that it's kind of almost like you, how much of this character is you?
Wow. Well, I'm not a pastor, so that's my thing. But yeah, he's actually based on like a few people that I knew growing up. Like I've known a lot of pastors growing up. I got one that I'm going to now, and one of them actually had as a teacher in high school. Like I feel like he's like a big inspiration for him too.
That's pretty cool to have like real life heroes that can inspire these fictional heroes as well. So tell us, okay, so the pastor can you tell us, was there a specific incident, without giving too much detail, as to what made him, and what exactly does the Desert Fox like represent?
Well, the pastor that inspired him a lot, who was my high school teacher, he was just the way that he was a pastor, but he gave like Christianity to us like in a cool way, you know what I mean? Like he was really cool. And I just felt like that resonated with my character, because I feel like comics, this is a way for me to express my faith in a way that I think is cool. So I feel like I get a lot of inspiration from him in that aspect.
And the Desert Fox, is there a specific reason why it's Desert Fox, or is it just a play on words because he's in Jerusalem?
It really all of that, and I guess I wanted to come up with another animal other than bat, I guess. But, you know, but yeah, it's really all of that. And it's a play on him being in the desert, you know, Jerusalem and all that. So, yeah, it's really all that. So,
aside from Batman, are there any other superheroes that you're like, I dig?
Well, when I first imagined the character, because I'm not an illustrator, I really wanted his look to be like the Arkham Knight. Like, I saw that, and I'm thinking, like, yeah, that if I wanted to make this character, I want him to look like that, like to have that type of look, that metallic, you know what I'm saying, like that metal Batman type of look.
Yeah. And you said you play video games, or is it just the Batman series that you play?
I haven't played video games in years. It's sad. I know it's sad, but the last game I played in the Arkham series was Arkham City, and that was probably the best one anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you had played any of the Batman ones, especially like the Telltale series one.
Oh no, not that one. I haven't played that one. What I've actually done is like before I stopped playing video games, I think because I kind of ran out of time because I got busy. But what I did was, and I think a lot of people do this on YouTube, and not just with the Arkham games, with a lot of video games. people like create cutscene, like take the cutscenes from the game,
Oh,
find
yes.
them, and you have like your own movie right there. So
Mhm.
that's how I looked into like Arkham Origins and Arkham City, and I even got into franchises for games I haven't even played like ever because of those cutscene movies, like God of War, Gears of War, just to name a few.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and I also developed my love for storytelling. I feel like
off of that.
by looking at those cutscene movies.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Like usually after I play a game, because I'm a big gamer. After I play the game, I go to YouTube and watch people just do the cutscenes, because you kind of lose the cutscenes in between gameplay and stuff like that. But I've never really thought of it inspiring the storytelling.
Yeah, it really makes you look at the story of the game, you know?
Yeah, that's actually pretty, like, I'm going to take that for me now from moving forward, because I like to write as well. But it's always interesting talking to other writers and seeing how their craft is different than my craft and what they incorporate and things like that. What is it about storytelling that grabs you?
The fact that you get to write the story in a way that you like you have control over that. It's like your world. And I feel like that's what I love the most about storytelling. You can design it however you like and tell it the way you want to.
Are there any authors or writers, whether we know their names or not, that inspire you? Not so much that you want to copy their style, but it's like, oh my God, I love what they wrote, I'm gonna write now. You know what I mean?
The late Stan Lee. Man, that's one of my biggest regrets in life. I never got to meet that man.
Me too,
man. When I went to New York Comic Con, they did this panel with like Todd McFarlane, and he was like he was talking about Stan, and like he was talking about, like, it was really emotional because him and Todd and Stan, they were really close, and he would like tell stories of him, and he would be crying. It was really emotional. But I'm glad I got to go see that. Like, he's a big inspiration for me, Stan Lee, and I wish I could have met him.
Yeah, I'm the same way too, but I'm like, my family members laugh at me because I never wanted to ask him like, who's your favorite superhero? I wanted to know him, like, what's your favorite color? What do you love to eat? Like, if you only had one meal, like, what would it be? Like, I wanted to know him. You know what I mean?
I know he said his favorite villain was Dr. Doom.
Oh, that's crazy. Dang, so good.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good. I like this. Yeah, I like talking about this.
So, and now it's just totally wiped because I'm like, Stan Lee is like so great and all this stuff. What comic books have you been able to read? Any new comic books?
They probably aren't new, but the last comic I read, it was when the Punisher put on the War Machine suit.
Ooh.
Yeah, what was it called? I know it's not called Warzone, or maybe it is. I forget. I'm forgetting right now. But yeah, I actually got those books from Comic-Con. Like, my friend who went with me was like, "You need to buy something." I'm like, if I'm buying anything, I'm buying that comic, because just think how cool that is. Like, the Punisher in the War Machine, like, that concept is so dope. Like, I had to. Yeah, if you're getting the comic, you have to get that one. And I read them too. They were awesome. They were really good.
See, I heard about them. I have yet to get to read them, so I don't really fully know like the whole story. So I know you're like super busy, but do you have time to like watch TV and binge watch and whatnot?
I get on YouTube a lot.
YouTube is your best friend. Well, because you can take it on the go. Like, I get that.
Yeah, to look at those cutscene movies. Like, that's one of the things I like to do. Like, I really get on YouTube more than TV nowadays. So yeah, that's what I do.
Did you ever think about maybe, well, obviously once you release the other books, once that's all done, like maybe an animated series for the Desert Fox?
Yes, like the movies especially, like that really inspires me to keep going. Like, I want to turn my stuff into movies, like the MCU and animated series, like, greats like the Batman animated series, like things like that. I want to be on that level. I want to go there.
Yeah, I can totally see it. And I'm not trying to like blow smoke or whatever, but I can definitely see that as like a cartoon series, because it kind of, and not in a disrespectful way, but it has that cartoon vibe to it. Like, you can see you know, certain sections of the story, like, oh, this is definitely a 30-minute cartoon show. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if you ever thought about that. Because
it's really the only thing on my mind, really.
Yeah.
Well, not the only thing, but it's really a big thing that's on my mind.
That's super cool. Have you ever like thought about other artists that might put their spin on it, or are you just dedicated to this one artist? And I'm sorry, what is the artist's name? Let's give him a quick shout out. Sorry.
Name's Cameron T. Wilson.
And
so look him up. Look him up.
Cameron T. Wilson. Yeah. I didn't mean to not give him a shout out. Sorry, Cameron. But you know, with other different art styles, and it's not a disrespect or a diss to Cameron, because I do like his art style, but maybe like seeing the Desert Fox in an anime type of style, and it's just to have a variation, you know what I mean? Have you ever thought of that?
I have, but for now I'm just sticking with, like, he's my biggest gun right now, so I'm just sticking with him.
But you said you already have all these stories written out. Was it difficult for you to go from, okay, this is the first book, this is the second book? Like, how did you keep that momentum going?
Well, I thought about like the villains that I started out with, and I just wanted to create more because I like creating characters, and I kept the stories going by creating more villains. I'm not going to say who they are yet.
No.
But yeah, that's how I kept the momentum going, because I like the process of creating a character. I enjoy creating the Desert Fox, and I enjoy creating villains to fit his like rogues gallery. So I enjoy that process, and the process of creating is what keeps me going.
Good. Okay, that's exciting. You know, because sometimes even for myself, when there's a story that ends up being like a short story and I want it to keep going, I realize that stretching it out is not going to work for me, because it's, you know, the story has already been told and it should end in a certain section. Have you found that, you know, I know you said you like the creative process and stuff like that, but has there been a moment where you're like, I want to keep this going, maybe I should end it? Or do you not have that situation ever happen?
Probably not like right now, but right now I'm on a roll, I feel like, and I haven't really, like, sometimes I feel like the creative process, sometimes you just have to like get out and move, you know, like don't just sit down and like focus on it. It's like, take a break, you know, just walk. Sometimes, and even doing that, like you can come up with ideas for yourself. I feel like that's how I came up with a lot of my ideas too, by being active, like just taking a walk down the sidewalk or anything like that.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was going to ask you next. Like, what is your process? Are you like the type to sit down for like an hour and knock it all out, or do you have to get up and move around? So
one thing I did, like when I first started, like, because I made this in 2014. Well, came up with the idea in 2014. One thing that I did was, like, whenever I would like help my dad outside in the yard, like, you know, working out in the sun, like that's when I feel like I'd have a lot of my creative moments. Like when I'm in a situation where like I wish I wasn't in, like I was trying, instead of being bored, like I think of ideas, and I feel like that helps out a lot.
That's good, staying active, so your mind actually stays active as well.
Right.
That makes sense, because sometimes some people go through their day-to-day motion and they're really not even thinking about anything, when you can be multitasking like yourself and thinking while doing stuff. So that's actually,
hey, since I came up with this in 2014, I may have came up with some ideas when I was in class. I mean, when a lot of teachers was talking or something, like thinking like, okay, I want to make this story, I want to have it this way, I want to have this character, like things like that.
Because this was your major, this is what degree you have, is English. Right. Yeah, so this definitely is in your wheelhouse to do. And it's do you ever find yourself, so I have like writer's ADD, I guess, because 1 minute I'm writing and I'm like, oh my God, this is another idea and this is another idea. Or are you able to hone it all in and focus on the one thing?
I like to think that I can. Like, I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about too. Like, but the way you have to do it, you just have to focus on what you want to achieve. I think that's actually a Batman quote. Focus on what you want to achieve. But yeah, I think they actually said that in Arkham Knight, actually. But yeah, focus on what you want to achieve. That's a real concept. And if you want to create a story, focus on like breaking it down so that you can write it in the best way. And I really believe that.
So you seem like a very positive, upbeat type of person.
Thank you.
What would you say to somebody who is looking at this interview right now and they're like, well, I wrote this story, but I suck. Like, you know, there's a lot of writers and young people that feel that way. What, in your positive light, shine on them, tell them what would be a good advice for them.
Keep going. Don't stop. Keep writing. Keep coming up with ideas. Keep going. And develop content. Like I started with my website. When I just had a website, I wouldn't stop talking about it to people. And I would talk about it to as many people as I could until I eventually talked to someone who connected me with the illustrator. So keep going. Keep talking about your ideas and your work until you get to where you want to be.
You're such a positive, upbeat person. I love it.
Thank you.
It's so much fun. Like, it definitely, I don't know if you can tell, like, I've been cheesing most of the time because it's just
it's all good. I love it. I love it though.
Yeah, it's good to have that energy. You know what I mean? It's especially in this whole month.
Not even year. Yeah, I don't even want to go there.
Yeah, but it's good to have that, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are like,
struggling.
They are, and the biggest enemy, in all honesty, is self-doubt. You know what I mean? Like you said, talk about it, be proactive in it, don't quit. And it's just good to hear you say that, because like I said, a lot of people struggle with self-doubt, and they can see your smiling face, tell them, keep going. I love it. Well, George, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to little old me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Let's pop up that website one last time, please, and thank you. So they can go desertfoxcomic.weebly.com. Are you on social media as well?
Yeah, all my social media is on my website as well. I have an Instagram and a Facebook.
Okay, we'll link all of that. Oh, there it is. Hey, look at Jack being on top of things.
I probably should make it. I don't have a Twitter.
Don't make the Twitter. No, stay away from Twitter. No, don't do it. You're too happy and you're too positive. Don't go to Twitter because you'll lose it all.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah.
Trust me, you'll lose it all. Stay on Instagram. You're safe there. Well, thank you so much, George. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As always, I love you lots. We're still in what we're in, so wash your hands and all that. Be safe, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye.